Hey guys, it's Quan. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, welcome to my channel and thank you for subscribing and becoming a part of the family. As you guys can tell from this title, this is going to be a nail tutorial. I know I've been MIA for several months. I haven't been uploading any videos, but I wanted to come back and just kind of revamp my channel and just take it in a new direction and just upload more nail videos for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope that you guys learn something from it. I decided to do this video simply because I actually am a self-taught nail technician. I do my nails and I also do nails for other people now, and this actually started years ago when I was in college. I think it was probably 2011, 2012 when I actually decided to do nails, but it's kind of been an on and off process for me for several reasons. But now I am back on the whole nail journey and I'm interested to see where this takes me. So I wanted to go ahead and do this video because, like I said, I did teach myself how to do nails, but I taught myself through YouTube and practice. Back in the day, I didn't have one of these hands right here that I'm going to use to demonstrate for you guys today, but I did have my own hands. So I would advise anybody, if you're going to practice doing nails, please get you a practice hand. This one came from, I think, Amazon or eBay, and it's not very expensive. And it's great for practicing on. If you don't have like an actual human hand to work on, you can always use this for practice. And with acrylic, it's definitely practice makes perfect. You're not going to get it on the first try, maybe not the second try, maybe not even the third try, but it's definitely a thing that you learn over time and as you go. It's not really something that someone can teach you by reading out of a book or simply watching videos. So anyway, enough rambling. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So I have everything here that I need to go ahead and do my sets of acrylic nails. I'm not going to go into like the shaping of nails and all of that right there because I'll actually do a separate video on shaping nails. This video is just going to literally be the basic step of starting a full set of acrylic nails. So in order to do a full set of acrylic nails, you're going to obviously need your tips. I just put all of my tips in this old Kiss box, but you can get tips from anywhere. You can get them from the drugstore, you can get them from Walmart, you can get them online, just whatever tips works for you. You're also gonna need some glue. Get you a good quick drying glue. This one is a good one. This one is by Kiss as well, and this one can be found at CVS or Walmart. So that's a good one. You're gonna need you some nail nippers or nail clippers is what I like to call them. And this is what you're gonna use to clip your nail. And then, or you can use scissors, whichever one you prefer. And then I also have some nail clippers here that you're gonna use for your actual client nails. And then also you're gonna need your acrylic system. It doesn't really matter which acrylic system that you use, but I do recommend using the same system, meaning if you're going to use one brand for your liquid, you also want to stick to that and use that same brand for your powder. You can get acrylic powders from Sally's Beauty Supply store. You can order them online. I know Kiss has like a starter kit that you can get from like Rite Aid or Walmart. And you're also going to need a nail file, and you're also going to need a nail buffer. And also, this is definitely not a necessity, and I may not use it in this video simply because it's hard to use the nail drill on this trainer hand, and sometimes the tips don't stay inside of this little hand here. So you don't have to use a drill starting off, but it's definitely something that will help you with your speed. But if you know how to apply your acrylic the right way, you won't necessarily need a drill for that. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so first things first, whenever you have a client, you want to make sure that you cut down their nails. Okay, so now you guys can see that I actually clipped down the client's nails, and you can see that there's not much free edge there. There's just enough to attach our tips. And then I'm also gonna just go ahead and go in, and I'm just gonna file the tip of the nail, the free edge of the nail, just to get it nice and smooth. And whenever you're filing your client's nails, just make sure that you're like filing in one direction and you're not going back and forth with the nail file. To damage your nail, because filing back and forth with a nail file is just gonna cause a lot of breakage on the nails, and you don't want to do that. So I just like to go in one direction. I'll just run the file around the free edge, and you're just gonna do it like this. And then you're going to do the same thing for the other side. So you're just going to turn the client's hand, start at that free edge there, and then just swipe it. We're going to dust away the excess. And I didn't do the thumb, so let's just focus on these 4 fingers here. So now we're just going to rough up the nail surface just a little bit. This is just going to make applying the tips a lot easier for them to adhere to the natural nail, because our natural nails can create so many oils underneath, so sometimes it can cause the nail tips to lift up as well as the acrylic. So we're just going to go ahead and roughen up the surface. If I was using an electric drill, I would use a fine sanding band to actually rough up the surface, but for the sake of the video, I'm going to go ahead and just use my nail file to rough up the surface of the nail. All right, so now that we have our nails prepped and ready to go, we're gonna go ahead and just start applying our tips to the nails. Now, you wanna make sure that when you're picking your tips, that you're picking a size tip that is a little bit bigger than the nail that you're applying. For instance, if you're gonna glue on a tip, let's say we're gonna go with this one. I'm just gonna randomly pick one. I know that obviously isn't the right size. Okay, so let's say that this is the tip that you've chosen for your client. You clearly see that this does not fit on the nail, right? You got too much free space there. You got a lot of free space there. So you know that this is definitely not the fit for your client. Up a size. And once you start doing nails more often, you'll kind of be able to like eyeball it and see which tip works best for which nail. This one, you can see there that it definitely covers up the side walls of the nail. If you turn the finger around this way, it's covering that side wall as well. So you know that this is a good fit. Although, when you look at it, if there's a little bit of tip that's hanging over the side, you can easily file that off. So whenever you're picking a nail tip, always pick the nail tip that's a little bit bigger than your actual client's nail, because that way you can kind of remove the excess from the nail tip versus picking a nail tip that's too small, and then you're gonna risk the nail tip cracking too soon and then the whole entire nail will lift off. So we're gonna just go ahead and go with these tips of the nail, and each tip has a number underneath them, and I simply just wrote these on here to make it easier for me to actually pick which one that I want. The biggest nail tip is normally the number 0. So basically, the higher you can go up in the number tip, the smaller the nail gets. So I'm going to go ahead and apply my tips to all of my nails. My next step is going to actually be to go in and just blend the tip in with my natural nail. Now you're actually ready to go ahead and cut down your client's nail to the desired length that they want. Do a square shaped nail because I do want to do a separate video with actual showing you guys how to shape your nails. So let me zoom in so you guys can actually see what I'm doing here. So to do this, I'm just going to make sure that my sides are straight, and I'm just going to take that nail file, holding it straight down, and I'm just going to file it going straight down. Do the same thing on the other side, this area, and you're just going to take that file and you're going to file it straight across. Okay, so then you have your nice shape. You're going to go on, do the same thing for the next nail. And you don't want to spend a lot of time perfecting your shape right now, because you're going to go back and do that once you actually have applied your acrylic. Roughly, this is how our nails are going to look. You want to go ahead and you're going to start prepping your nails. So to do this, you're going to actually need to get you some primer. So now, while that's drying, I'm just going to get my acrylic ready. To do the acrylic, you're going to need a paper towel to absorb all of your liquid. And then you're also going to need your powder. Need your acrylic nail brush. And this is the brush that I use. It is a number, I think a number 10. A number 10 brush, and this is just what works for me. Some people like to use bigger brushes, some people like to use smaller brushes, but I found that this one works best for me. The primer is pretty much dry and ready to go. You're gonna actually go ahead and start your acrylic application. Okay, this is, again, this is the way that I taught myself. It's not necessarily saying that you can't do it your own way. Some people like to use a 1 bead method. Some people like to use a 3 bead method. You know, it just all depends on what you're comfortable with. I typically go for a 2 to 3 bead method. So I'm just going to show you guys what I mean by that. Let me move that out of the way so you guys can see. Okay, so I'm taking my brush, and to begin, I'm just going to swipe the side of the brush to get some of that liquid off. Like this, just on the side of the dish, very, very lightly. I'm just brushing it off. And the side that I did not swipe, the side that I'm going to use to pick up my powder. Okay, so let me show you again. Dump your brush, and you're going to swipe it against the dapping dish, knocking some of that liquid off. And then you're going to take your brush and you're going to slide it in the acrylics to pick up your bead. And so you're going to just dip it, slide, hold it for a second, and pick it up. And then this is what your bead should look like. It's not too wet, it's not too dry. Okay, and then you'll see that the actual product is there. It's not falling off of my brush. You know, it's not too liquidy. It's a perfect ball, and you would place that on the nail. Okay, so I'm obviously not going to use this because it's probably not going to move around the way I want it to. So let's pick up another one and we'll use that one. So I'm just going to wipe that off on the napkin. Okay, so let me zoom you guys in a little bit more so you can see a little bit better of what I'm doing. All right, so again, you want to take your brush, dip it in the dapping dish, wipe it on the sides to get the liquid off. The side that has the liquid is the side you want to put in your powder. So I'm going to flip my brush over, okay? Use the side with the liquid, dip it in the powder, drag it across, hold it for a second, and then pull it out. So then you have your bead. And as you can see, it's drying up nicely. It's not too liquidy. It's not flipping off my brush. So now what you're going to do is you're going to place your first bead in the middle of the nail. And this is typically where the tip meets the natural nail. And I place it down and I brush it back. And I'm going to push in my sides, and I'm going to lightly swipe down with that acrylic. And in between, you're gonna see that I'm actually wiping my brush off. And that's just to make sure that I have no acrylic on my brush after I'm done wiping, okay? So make sure you get underneath that nail, get the tip. Turn your finger, like don't be afraid to turn your client's finger around, okay? Because you wanna make sure that you get all of that acrylic off, okay? All that acrylic. So as you can see, there's a nice, not too thick, not too thin tip, okay? So let's go ahead and do the rest of the nail. So that was my first bead. And then my second bead, I'm gonna just place it a little bit lower than that and push it back to the cuticle. So now I'm just cleaning off my brush, wipe it off on the sides, dip my brush back in, and I'm gonna drag it, have my bead there. It's not too wet because it's not falling off. And you're gonna place that right below the bead that you placed down the first time. And you're gonna press it backward. Make sure you're pressing your sides in so that it doesn't get on the side wall of the nail. And you're gonna brush that down. Okay, so that was my second bead. This tip does not want to stay. Okay. All right, so that was my second bead, and I am going to do a third bead simply because I do see an area where I need to apply some more acrylic closer to the cuticle area. What I like to do a lot of times is to turn my nail to the side to make sure that there's an arch in the nail. And what that means is your nail isn't flat. You want to make sure that your nail has a nice apex or a nice arch in the middle of the nail, because this is where your strength is in your nail. Whenever people break their nails, it typically comes because in this area it's too flat. So you always want to make sure that you have like a good apex or nice arch in the nail. So always turn your nails to the side. Make sure you have that arch in the nail. If it's too flat, you want to go back in and add some more acrylic. Taking my powder, and to get a smaller bead, you just don't drag as much. You literally just dip it in the powder, drag a little bit, and pick up like that. Because again, this is for the cuticle area. We don't want a whole lot. So we're just going to place that not on the cuticle, but close enough to where you can literally push back. Push it back towards the cuticle. Wipe the sides down. And you want to do this part lightly because you don't want to move that acrylic around. You just simply want to blend it down. Okay. And it's so much harder to do this with this nail tip because it doesn't want to stay on. But yeah, that's that nail. All right, and so now we're going to continue on to the next nail. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to take our brush and we're going to dip it in the product. We're going to wipe it off. Wipe it off. Take that other side, dip it in, drag it, hold it a second. Get our good bead. It's not too wet, not dripping. And then we're just going to place that right in the middle. We're going to press that down in the middle like that. Make sure it spreads nicely. Push the side in. Lightly brush that acrylic down. Very, very lightly. Because you don't want to disturb the acrylic. You don't want the acrylic to move around too much. You just want it to spread down over your tip. Again, get those sides. Wipe off our brush, dip it in, drag it, hold it. I didn't get big enough bead here, so I may have to get some more. Press it down, push it back toward the cuticle. Wipe our brush off, push in our sides, drag it down, push in our sides on this side, turn your finger. Make sure you turn your client's finger, or your finger, whoever finger you're working on. Okay. And that's that. Okay, and so we're gonna check, make sure we have us a nice apex. So we're gonna turn it to the side. Okay. And as you can see, we have a nice little arch there. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna go through the process again, but I'm not gonna explain it this time. I'm just gonna demonstrate because I feel like I'm just gonna be repetitive in what I'm doing. But a lot of people do learn by just watching. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do for you guys. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish up these two nails. All of our nails are completed. All of our acrylic has been applied. So now I'm just gonna get this out of the way. This is what our nails look like. Once you're done with your acrylic application, you want to go ahead and go back and file your nails. And this is when you actually go ahead and try to perfect the shape of your nail. Because in the beginning, when we first applied our tips, you know, we're not trying to perfect our nails as far as the shape. We just want to get the a rough sketch of what our shape is going to be. So now this is the time that you will actually perfect your shape. And before you actually go in and start filing your nail down, you want to make sure that your acrylic is all the way dry. So to do this, you just want to take your nail file, you want to tap the nail. And if you hear that noise, like a tapping noise, then you know that it's dry. Okay. That one's good. That one's good. And this one, you see how it's a little softer? It's a little softer than this one. See, listen in the difference. Okay, so you know that this one is still a little bit wet. That's the one I just did. So we're gonna let that one dry, and we're gonna go in and we're just gonna go ahead and file our nails down. So now we're back to this nail, and let's see if it's dry. We're gonna just do the tapping motion again. And as we heard, it is ready to go. So we're just gonna go ahead and file that. We have our nails nicely shaped, looks good. So this would be the step where you would actually need your nail drill. And again, as I stated earlier, I wasn't going to use it in this video, but just to kind of demonstrate, to show you guys. And I will do like watch me work videos, or videos where I'm actually doing clients nails, so you guys can actually, or my own nails, so you guys can actually see how to use a drill. So don't think that I won't ever show you guys how to use a nail drill, because I will. It just won't be in this video because I am working with a trainer hand. So if you were working with a client, you would actually put on your drill bit. And whenever working with a client, whenever working with a client and working closer to their skin area, you want to make sure that you're using a fine drill bit. And I'll just show you guys mine's. Let me just put this on for a second. Okay, so this is a ceramic bit, and this is a ceramic bit that is fine. And this is basically just what I use to go around the cuticles of my client. Once you learn how to lay your acrylic down and perfect the way that you lay your acrylic down, you won't have to do much filing at all. I don't have to do a lot of filing when I do my nails now, but I used to when I first started doing nails. But now I've kind of perfected the way that I actually lay my acrylic down, and I'm constantly still learning. Don't think I'm perfect, because I'm not. I still practice. Just as a demonstration, I'm not going to turn the drill on, but what you would do is you would first of all pull the client's skin back as much as you can away from the actual drill, and you would just take that drill. Let me zoom in. Let's see. You would take this drill and you would go from the right side around to the left side, okay? Let me use a better finger, because this one is just, I don't know what's going on. So yeah, like I was saying, you would just basically go from the right side to the left side. And you would just start by tilting the client's hand, and you would just like drill that side there. And then you would get around the cuticle area there, and you would just keep going and get the other side. And then I would just then lastly run the drill over the entire nail, just to make sure there aren't any lumps or bumps or anything. But these nails are very, very smooth. There aren't any bumps or any lumps. Again, that was not how I was when I first started doing nails. I used to have so many dang on lumps in my nails that it was ridiculous. So do not get discouraged if your nails have lumps in them, they have bumps in them, and they're not smooth, and you have to drill, you have to file, because it is definitely a learning process, and all you have to do is just keep practicing. So yeah, so once you've done that, once you've went around the cuticle, cleaned the cuticle up, you would then go in with your buffer. And if you want to use a hand file for the cuticle area, you can, but you still have to be careful, because you can cut your client. You would just take your file and you would get at that cuticle and try not to touch it, and you would just file that area where the acrylic is, okay? So let me just show you what I mean on one of the nails. You would just, look, see, there's a nail again. It just does not want to stay, okay? So we're just going to forget about that nail right now. So you would just take your nail file and you would just basically file with a lot of pressure to, you know, file around that cuticle area. Just pressure and filing. And that's just going to work down that acrylic that may be at the cuticle area. And then that's, you know, it'll work the same as if it was a nail drill. So once you've done that, go in with your buffer. Buffing is a must, okay? If you do not buff your nails, when you go to polish your actual nails, you're gonna be able to see, like for instance, where I just filed right there. If you just went right in with polish, you would see those lines where I actually went in with that drill. So or that nail file. So you do not want that on your nail. So get you a buffer. You can get these at Sally's Beauty Supply store. They're like a couple cents, and you just want to buff the client's nail. So I'm just going to hold this client hand here, because this one I want to stay. And you're just going to literally buff that surface of that nail, okay? Because you want a nice and smooth application when you go to polish your nails. And I always feel my client's hands just to make sure, or the client's nail, to make sure that it's nice and smooth, because sometimes you can't go off of how it looks. All right, so then this is what your nails look like. They look nice and smooth once you've actually went through and buffed your nails. And then after this step, you can go ahead and tell your clients to go ahead and wash their hands, or you can do what I do, and I simply just use my antibacterial cleansing spray, which is technically really just alcohol, and you can just put it on a lint-free wipe and use that to cleanse off your client's nails. So just literally spray this. I'll just saturate it with the spray, and I'll just, you know, make sure it's nice and wet, and then I'll just take it and just run it over my client's hands just to clean it. And then you would just design it from here. This video was just showing you guys how to do the actual acrylic application process. So again, I will do a separate video on shaping the nail, on designs. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it was helpful to someone. I hope that you guys learned something new that you didn't know already, or simply just a different method of doing acrylic nails. I know there's so many videos on YouTube now about applying nails, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.